Hey, today's episode is an episode of Odd Man Sports, which is a show I host over on the Game Day YouTube channel every Wednesday evening. So, if you like this episode, please go over to the Game Day YouTube channel. I dropped a link below, and we drop episodes like this every Wednesday. Usually we're talking about all sports. This week was just about football, so I figured that would be a good episode to give you a taste. Just like a good drug dealer, I wanted to give you a free little taste to get you hooked. So you got to go back. Again, the Game Day YouTube channel. Check it out. Odd Man Sports every Wednesday evening. This is what we do. Wait, do I do that still? It's going to happen. Washington football team will reveal their new name on February 2nd, aka Groundhog Day, which is why I believe they will go with the Washington Hogs. Or the Red Hogs, or my personal preference, the Washington Bill Murrays. Welcome back to another episode of Odd Man Sports, a sports comedy show that's roughly as long as a Joe Judge rant, and not nearly as funny. I am your host, Brandon Perna. I'm also the host of That's Good Sports, another show on YouTube. I'm also hosting a computer server so snowboarders can upload and store all their helmet GoPro footage so not a minute of that goes to waste. And while I can't guarantee this week's show will be as compelling as that POV footage of you shredding the gnar, here's what's in store. Some Antonio Brown insights you haven't heard, including why AB might be a better fit for SeaWorld, why Gronk should be forced to actually join the military, and why Tyrann Mathieu's nomination for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award gave me the best idea for the next Washington football team name. Dinks and dunks. Between the wall-to-wall NFL and college bowl games, I actually started watching golf highlights of Charlie Woods, just as a palate cleanser. Have you seen this kid? He's amazing. If we only had a reference to how the single-minded pursuit of golf perfection as a desperate attempt for the affection of a flawed and distant father might turn out. Oh, right. Shifting to the NFL, it's been roughly 72 hours since Antonio Brown went full Magic Mike at the Meadowlands, iconically ending his career as a Buccaneer. Or not, because he's technically still on the team. And while AB's act was roundly criticized by everyone from Tony Dungy to O.J. Simpson, I think people are overlooking one important aspect of this story: just how good AB's jumping jack technique was. In response to this tweet asking who was the bigger diva, Terrell Owens, the former go-to reference for NFL divas, responded with this: wow, respectfully and disrespectfully, there's no comparison. And T.O.'s right, there is no comparison. AB is like no one in the history of the league. But there is one comp for AB that I think does fit: Shamu. Shamu from SeaWorld, and not just because they're both from Florida. You know how every couple years we hear a story about an orca in captivity attacking and killing its trainer? And everyone is like, oh, how could this happen? What went wrong? What went wrong? And every time I'm like, I'll tell you what went wrong. It's a killer whale. You didn't think putting him in captivity with delicious humans swimming around in sealskin suits was potentially problematic? But look how big that smile is. He wouldn't hurt a fly. He literally has the word killer in his name. Oh, blaming Antonio Brown for eventually going full Antonio Brown is like being shocked that the Boston Strangler strangled someone, or getting mad at Ed Too Tall Jones for hitting his head on the doorframe. It's who they are and what they do. And in the past week alone, Antonio Brown has shown two other things he has in common with killer whales. One, the ability to emit loud noises by blowing air out of his back hole.
Let's see here. bodybuilders. And this is...
Imagine going to 8 years of medical school to have Antonio Brown rip farts on you. The only doctor who deserves that is Dr. Phil. Maybe Dr. Oz. And another thing AB has in common with an orca, as he showed in a recent cameo, the inability to correctly pronounce Big Ben's last name.
I know you sad about Ben Roethlisberger.
That doesn't sound right. Can you play that last word again?
Roethlisberger.
And somehow this isn't even the funniest pronunciation AB had in this one video, because this is a real thing he said, like 6 seconds later.
Big Ben has a lot of football yet left, and he didn't say that his career was over, so we can't speculate and
Recognize, recollect, recolonize. Yeah, I was just checking on my dictionary, making sure. So, how does this sordid story end? Was this AB's last hurrah? Well, if I had to speculate, I'd say no, because he can still play. And I know at least one guy willing to take a chance on him next year if it'll bring him closer to a Super Bowl. Jerry. In other NFL news, Bills QB Josh Allen, on this 2-yard run, now has the third most rushing touchdowns in Buffalo Bills history, behind only Thurman Thomas and O.J. Simpson. Allen is also currently tied for second among Bills players in one other important statistical category: getting away with murders. Don't see that record being broken anytime soon. Speaking of stats, on Monday night in a 26-14 loss to the Steelers, Baker Mayfield threw his 5th and 6th interception in the last 2 games, part of a nightmare season for the former #1 overall pick. Between the shirtless Tiger picks and the attempt to play through a shoulder injury, Baker hasn't made it easy on himself since he came into the league. Also, not making it easy on Baker Mayfield, Baker's wife, who last week tweeted Baker's first 4 seasons of stats, looking favorable to 2 of the greatest to ever do it, Brett Favre and Drew Brees. Now, let's put aside the fact that Favre and Brees didn't even play their rookie seasons. Modern QB statistics also have nothing in common with previous eras. Saying Baker is better than Brett Favre because he has more touchdowns is like saying I'm more successful than my dad because I have more YouTube views. And where would Miss Mayfield even get the idea to compare her husband to Brett Favre? Oh, right. I don't know which is crazier, if Baker knew she was doing this or if he didn't. But I do know we haven't seen this kind of ride or die relationship in the NFL since Andre Rison and Lisa Left Eye Lopez. In other news, John Madden passed away last week at the age of 85, followed by touching tributes about Madden's larger-than-life personality from those who knew him.
The biggest thing I'm going to miss about John is we always had a lot of fun. You know, whether it was, talking about a turducken and how it got made, and or whether you're on the bus and no dumping on the bus rule, and of course I broke it. Which
I believe is the exact same thing Condoleezza Rice said at Colin Powell's funeral. I haven't heard someone pivot from a solemn response to toilet talk since Bucs guard George Hill was asked why he wasn't standing with his teammates during the national anthem.
There's a specific reason you weren't out in the arena during the national anthem.
You want the honest truth?
Yep.
Okay, I take a shit every time before the game.
R.I.P. John Madden. Money talks. If you live on NFL Twitter like I do, the 2 biggest gripes from last weekend involved Robert Saleh's decision to go for it at the end of the Bucs game and Verizon's decision to constantly shove Kate McKinnon down our throats during every stoppage of play.
Holiday better with Verizon because everyone deserves better.
Because everyone is tuning into 8 hours of commercial-free football on the Red Zone. And yet, somehow, this annoying cell phone spot wasn't even the most off-putting ad in the Sunday rotation. because this is a real thing that exists.
USA, this is Stephanie.
Hi, this is Robert. I'd like to get up to 30% off my auto insurance with Safe Pilot.
What's your member number?
87.
It should be between 5 and 12 digits.
Busted. This is Super Bowl champion Rob Gronkowski. I'm not a member.
Mr. Gronkowski, USAA is for the military community and their families.
Gronk disguising himself as ex-military in an attempt to score discounted auto insurance? Honestly, AB is a better fit for that role when you think about it. But put aside the fact that a millionaire athlete posing as someone else for a lower rate is already a weird concept. But stolen valor Gronk? That's just not right. Like the time Bill Belichick tried out some of Gronk's stolen 69 material.
I mean, it's similar to Solder. I think both guys are around 6'9".
Nice, Bill. Less nice, at the end of this 30-second spot, Gronk gets caught attempting to impersonate another normally hands-off group, the mentally challenged.
Mr. Gronkowski, USAA is for the military community and their families. That's what makes us special.
Oh, but I'm special.
Now, I don't want to read too much into Gronk's role in all of this, because the odds Gronk read the script ahead of the shoot are probably lower than the Bucs plus 900 Super Bowl odds. And Gronk has been transparent about his lack of discernment when it comes to endorsements and commercials.
How do you decide what to invest in or what to loan your name to the businesses that you get involved with? What's your process there?
I'm going to be straight up honest. You just want to get paid.
You just want to make money.
You don't even care what the product is.
Which is one of the many reasons I'm different than Gronk, because my other show, That's Good Sports, is sponsored by a man groomer, a product I actually use, because if this is going on up here, you don't even want to imagine what's happening under the desk. Odd man out. It appears Aaron Rodgers, after last Sunday's 29 of 38 and 2 tutty performance, is set to be named this year's MVP. But there's another NFL award which has yet to be determined.
The league's most prestigious honor, excellence on and off the field, the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award.
As we speak, the leading vote getter for the award is Chiefs safety Tyrann Mathieu, which I have to admit I found a little surprising, considering the award is voted on by the fans. And if memory serves, earlier this year, Mathieu called Chiefs fans, quote, the most toxic in all of sports. Reportedly told Titans fans to, quote, go sit on a dick, and routinely gets into it with people on Twitter, including not too long ago telling a fan who criticized his play to, quote, drop your location and I'll pull up on your soft ass. And while none of these things mean Tyrann Mathieu is a bad guy, necessarily, I find it kind of hard to believe that of the 1,700 players on the active NFL rosters this year, that he's the best guy. But I guess to be sure, we'd have to look at some of his fellow nominees who he's ahead of.
Washington defensive end Jonathan Allen is known as one of the best defensive players in the league. And for the second time in his career, Allen earned Washington's nomination for the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award.
Jonathan Allen. Why does that name sound familiar? Oh, because this Man of the Year nominee, seen here handing out a turkey in slow motion next to teammate Daron Payne, is the same guy seen here sucker punching that same Daron Payne in the face 2 weeks ago. And while Allen's personal off-the-field efforts are to be applauded, I think it's also important to recognize some of the great contributions his team made this year as well.
The Washington Football Charity Foundation is covering the cost at a few area black-owned laundromats as part of its Loads of Love campaign.
Loads of Love? Probably a better name for Philip Rivers' charity, but undoubtedly a worthy cause nonetheless. So what could these laundromat owners expect from the football team's outreach?
Local business owner said his jaw dropped when he got a phone call from someone named Alex Smith with the Washington football team.
I mean, how cool is this? 1 minute you're running a small coin-operated laundromat, and the next minute, former Washington starting QB Alex Smith is online too.
Well, it wasn't the former Washington QB, but it was someone named Alexandra Smith who works with the football team's charitable foundation.
Oh, well, it is Dan Snyder's team, so I'm sure the charitable gifts were extremely generous and impressive.
Lorraine is homeless. When she walked into Columbia Pike Laundry, the owner surprised her. The cost of the laundry she got for free was minuscule. The value of an unexpected blessing, immeasurable.
Wow, $1.25 for a homeless woman? I think we just figured out the perfect new nickname for the Washington football team, the Washington Skinflints. All right, that's it for today. Please like this video, subscribe here to the Game Day YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you at the same time next week. Odd Man Sports.
It's in the game.